Hi, I'm John from Green Star Power. Don't get me wrong, I really love our Generalink, but it was time to move to a whole home generator. I'm going to give you a bunch of reasons why. The first reason, I'm not getting any younger. The next reason, I don't want to have to go to the back of my garage and dig out the generator whenever the power goes off. Now, Generalink makes it easy, but I don't want to have to go outside to hook up my generator, usually in bad weather. I don't want to have to maintain the generator anymore while it's running. And when the power comes back on, I don't want to have to siphon the gas out of the generator and put it back again. And probably even more important, when I'm gone, my wife wants to do all those things even less than I want to. So I took most of this summer and fall to slowly plan out and get my generator installed. I just want to share with you some of the things that I had to think about and things that you might have to consider as well. One of the earlier things you're going to think about is what type of generator do you want to get? There are a lot of brands out there, and it might be partly decided for you by your fuel source. If you've got natural gas flowing right by your place, then that's almost a no-brainer. I didn't want to pay the 40% more for a diesel, even though I would have preferred a diesel. So for me, propane was the way I had to go. And then the type of generator, I decided to go with a Generac, partly because they have really good pairing with their transfer switches, but also because they're readily available. And down the road, I think parts will be readily available too. One of the next early things to consider is the size of your generator. Yes, size does matter. You don't want to go too small because it may not power your whole home. You don't want to go too big because you're just burning fuel for nothing. And so I decided to go with an 18 kilowatt. One of the things that I did, there are wattage calculators on the internet that you can use and other guides that you can find on the internet. But I ended up just looking at all the appliances and all the products that I have in my house, the hot water heater. I have a couple of space heaters, electric space heaters, and I have a couple of 4,500 watt box heaters. I added up all those things, the fridges, the freezers, and then I sort of came up with the probability that what any of them are going to be running at any given point and the total amount of power that I would be using. And I concluded that about an 18 kilowatt would work in our home. Where are you going to put your transfer switch? The most convenient spot is to put it right beside your meter base. And the reason is because the power comes in and has to be diverted to the transfer switch before it goes into towards your electrical panel. And so a really convenient spot is right beside it. But for our house, that was facing the road. I didn't like that sort of, I'll call it an eyesore of having that large transfer switch sitting there. And so it was a little more expensive, but we decided to put the transfer switch in the basement. So here's our transfer switch in the basement right beside our main panel. And you can see power comes in from the utility here and comes in from the generator at the bottom. And the transfer switch decides where to draw the power from depending on whether or not your power is out. And I like it here in the basement, out of sight, out of mind. Something that isn't often talked about is THD, which stands for total harmonic distortion. Basically, it's a number that represents how clean or how perfect the power is coming from your generator. I have sensitive electronics in my home, including computers, and so it's really important that my THD was below 5%. Keep that in mind when you're purchasing a generator, because sometimes cheaper generators have a higher THD. Do you want your generator connected to your Wi-Fi? I get a text message from my utility when my power goes out and comes back on again. And so it's nice to be able to check on the status of my generator anywhere where there's a phone signal. And not all makes and models have that feature, so check that box off if it's important to you. If you're not using natural gas or diesel, you're going to need propane tanks, probably 2 large ones. Propane companies don't make a lot of money off of propane for generators because they don't run that often. But you'll want to put those tanks somewhat close to the generator if you don't already have any. If you already have propane tanks, you might have to add another one. We also put a propane monitoring device on the tanks so that the propane company can monitor how much propane we have, and I can also check it on my app. How much do I love my Generalink? I'm keeping it, and the portable generator. I guess I believe in some redundancy. Are you looking for a whole home generator? Green Star Power can supply the generator and the transfer switch, land the generator on a pad, connect the electrical and the gas, and commission the generator, all for one quoted price. To get started, give us a call or email us. Have a good day.